What's going on, everybody? Zeah Hero here, and today I'm going to bring you an interview with a guy he goes by the name of Zeah God, and he is a Zeah Only player like myself. He's been there since before I have, I'll tell you that. He's been here killing things and training on Zeah longer than me, longer than most Zeah Only players that play on the normal game. You may or may not be able to tell, but I'm going to go ahead and right click his name. He's 114 combat. He is a very good player. He's got some pretty high stats in the Zeah community. I think everybody knows his name. He's got another account, which is maxed, 99 everything, and so he definitely knows his way around the game, not just Zeah. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce you guys to Zeah FeGod. What's going on, Zeah God?
Not much, just late night.
Alright, so I basically just said that you've been playing Zeah longer than I have, and not only do you know a lot about Zeah because you've been playing for so long, and that you're level 114 combat, you're the highest. What's your total level now?
It's 1920. Yep, 1920.
1920. So you're almost hitting the 2K in Zeah Only. That's I mean, you're top rank for Zeah Only. Yeah.
TDS and another Ultimate Ironman might disagree, but
total level TDS I believe he's in his 1700s. I think he just got 17.
No, he just got to 1820.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he's starting to hit combat now, so he's going up there. He just gained another level since I checked on him.
I see. Well, I had also just alluded to the fact that you do have another account, which is your main account, and it is totally maxed, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So
totally maxed. Not
only have you been playing Zeah Only for longer than I have, and not only do you have the highest total level of anyone that I know who plays Zeah Only, but you also have a maxed main, fully maxed main. So you really know Runescape and you really know Zeah. That's not a mischaracterization, is it?
I guess you could put it that way, or
okay.
You could say I put too much time in this game.
Fair enough. Okay, let's discuss Twisted League. What are your thoughts on Twisted League? Are you excited for it?
In a way, yes. In a way, no, because that means I need to come back and get away from Redwood so I can actually go out there and do some skilling and other stuff. I think it's really hype just in the fact that it's brand new content. They're trying to bring back like that competitive edge, like what was it? King of the Skill. So where it was like try to figure out your strategy so you can get the highest total level in 24 hours of playtime.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that thing, but it's extended. This is a more casual, like 2-month. Do it as you go.
Yeah, I kind of like the way that they've got it set up. It's not quite like Deadman mode where it just lasts a week or a month even. It sounds like Jagex isn't going to try to make it take away from the actual facets of being Zeah Only by, adding a Bando Scott sword. They're not going to do that. They're going to make this really still feel like, at least this is what they say, right? They say they're definitely going to make it feel like it's a Zeah locked playthrough. With that being said, what are you thinking for strategies? You have any ideas in mind yet?
Well, I can tell you a secret spot where you can go train your combat, so I can spoil it for everyone.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Strategy-wise, I put out a guide on it, and I mean, that's probably going to be subject to change. I just kind of put that guide out going based upon what the current, like, Zeah most efficient, going from, like, fresh account all the way to max. There's a few changes here and there. Comments, I've, like, had to change some minor stuff here and there, like, I thought crafting was going to be a thing that's going to be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a ton of people sharing sheep because that's the only way you can go from level 1 crafting to level 10.
Yeah.
Yep. And then as far as lamps, someone mentioned, hey, construction for the winter Todd, you're going to have to, like, you save like 28 braziers to repair if you use one lamp on it, and then like another 10 on top of that if you use the second one.
Wow.
Which I think is more time saved.
Yeah, I think so. As far as construction goes, they did say that when we buy our house, and we'll still be able to buy it at level 1, and when we do buy it, it'll automatically be located in Hosidius, which originally, in the normal RuneScape servers, takes 25 construction actually to relocate your house to Hosidius. I think maybe that'll help people to not have to do Winter Todd, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
One of the big things that is actually a big challenge for regular Zeah is getting a steel axe. So if you use bronze or iron,
oh yes,
it's not as fast to cut the Winter Todd roots.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Whatever they are.
That is a very common misconception, even amongst people on Zeah. The people who would know are the people who play Zeah Only, but there's even a couple people here that are like, no, it's okay, I can use my iron or blah, blah, blah. I was the same way, too. I was like, I'll just use an iron axe. It'll be fine. Even after I was told steel is what you need. I found out the hard way. And so when I made a video about it, I made a Wintertod guide about it about a month ago or a few weeks ago. And when I put that out, I got a lot of people commenting on Reddit and other places saying, you don't know what you're talking about. The steel axe isn't as good as the dragon axe. You can do it with a bronze. I'm like, okay, well. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, the steel is equal to a dragon, but iron and bronze, you may not even make points for the round, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
I know someone was complaining about it.
Yep. In my experience, if you're using a bronze, it's really bad. It's a complete struggle to get 500 points for a complete round. And then with the iron, it was still tough. It was like 70% of the time. You're much better off using the steel.
Yeah, so there's kind of a few ways you can go about it. You can hate yourself and go for 60 woodcutting with an iron or bronze axe.
Yeah.
Go into woodcutting guild, buy the steel axe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the more recommended way is just to make your own. So you can go out and just get to 30 smithing and make it yourself. You can do that +1 boost using the Lovshin bar. However you pronounce that. I've always hated some of these names.
I say Lovikenge, but
Lovikenge.
It's whatever.
Yeah, so if you go to the bar there, you can get a Dwarven Stout and do the +1 smithing boost.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, you have, two options. You can either, use the anvil up there, or you can use the anvil down in the Corrin Castle.
And then there is another way, but if you're wanting to go to Wintertod with 10 HP, it's not viable. However, if you rush right into combat first, it might be wise for you to go kill the lesser demons or the greater demons. And I would not suggest the ones in the catacombs just because they're higher level. Go kill the ones in the Chasm of Fire. They are the normal level, lesser
You have
and
to be
greater.
on task for that.
Do you? Oh, that's right, you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Good point. Kill the ones in the catacombs. But they do drop a steel axe. I believe the greater demons are a 1 in 26 or something, and then the lessers are like a 1 in 42. It's not
So there's
too
a few
uncommon.
safe spots. Yeah, if you're in the catacombs trying to do the greater demons, it's in between those two rooms. You can stand in that little hallway, and you basically can't get attacked.
That's right, and you can stand underneath the rope in the northeastern corner of the catacombs that comes down from Arceus, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that one worked too.
Yes, sir.
I just used the one between the two greater demons because
Yeah.
the eastern room actually has higher level ones, so you get more Slayer experience for your kills.
Yeah. Yep. So we've covered the steel axe, which is actually a pretty big point. There was another point, and I think I've really driven it home in my guide about the knife spawns. Yeah. So tell everybody. I don't know if you experienced it the same way I did because I started after you, but in the original Hosidius workup with the original release of Zeah, I think there was a knife in Grit Collar's cooking shop. I don't know if anyone knew that though, did they?
Is there one?
Yes, and there is still one now, and she's now located in the town center, right by the fruit stall.
I don't recall if that was original, pre-Hosidius. I'll feel like an idiot if there was one. I probably actually mentioned at some point I found it, but...
See, so I found it one day in the original workup for Hosidius when I was trying to buy some chocolate bars to make into chocolate dust.
Oh.
I feel like the idiot because I went there and was buying them one at a time.
You're not alone. I did that for a time I think about 150 chocolate bars, hopping worlds one at a time, and every farm run grabbing a chocolate bar.
There was a knife there. She got relocated. Now she's in the center of Hosidius' house. She still has the knife. Somebody had commented on my video and said that you need 25. I believe they said 25% favor with Hosidius.
It's 45.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's 45. I mean, I can check the guide here. But I'm pretty sure it's 45.
I didn't think you needed any.
Yeah, it's 45 for mess hall, but I don't know if you need to access the cabinet. I would think they would probably prevent you from getting in there.
Well, you don't have to get in anywhere. She's standing outside of a house.
Oh, I meant for the mess hall. So you can get a knife from the cabinets in mess hall.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, there's a ton of different places. So I think the general store underneath Piscarius. So if you start Queen of Thieves quest, there should be one down there. There's one in Wintertod. There's one in the mess hall. You can get one from baby implings, which
Yes.
yeah, just watch my episode 2 for how idiotic that was.
Wait, that takes 33 hunter.
I think 27.
Yeah, you're right. 27.
Should be 27 for barehanded.
Okay, so let's discuss. I want to discuss real quick the requirements for each of these knives. You mentioned one in the Warrens, which is the place that's
Yes.
accessible after completing Queen of Thieves.
Well, you just need to start that and get to a certain point, and then you can use the shops down there. And of course, the fishing shop is going to be one of your best friends.
Right. Yes, the Queen of Thieves. So you say you only have to get the quest partially complete. However, you have to do Client of Karen to even start the Queen of Thieves.
Yep.
And to start the Queen of Thieves, you also have to have, I believe it's 25% Piscarilius favor.
It should be 20%.
With that in mind, while that may sound like a really great starter knife, there are a couple things you definitely have to do to get access to that. Let's talk about no requirements knives. There is a knife northeast from where we're standing right now, and it's spawns on the table, and it's available without any requirements, but it is all the way across the map, just south of Mount Kalrum.
Oh, it's that. Okay, that's kind
Yeah.
of a depressing hut. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
It's where you go after you stake all your money.
To the hut?
Yep.
I'd never heard that one, but all right. So there's that knife, which has no requirements. And then if the Hosidius House, Grit Collar's cooking shop, if that doesn't have any requirements, then that'll be the other second no requirement knife. But other than that, I think every other knife has some sort of requirement, including Wintertod. You have to have 50 firemaking to even get into the Wintertod, into the prison itself.
Yep. I learned that one the hard way too.
Me too. These guys, I think they're going to be in for a treat. I'm not so sure that many people really understand just how much there is to Zeah. I know it's one of those places that they thought was kind of a flopped release by Jagex, and that's been long forgotten. And
It really was.
it
Like,
was.
when it was released, it was, and there's video of the old Zeah. He was the original Zeah Ironman. Evan Andrew H is his YouTube channel.
Yeah, is that Spellsy?
And yep, Spellsy,
Yep.
aka Zeah Citizen. There was almost nothing to do. Your big things to do were Arceus rune crafting. The library was a nightmare. Blast mining was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, the spell book, of course, was underwhelming.
The reason
Anglers, that was big.
the anglers,
That
yes.
was it. Yeah.
The reason why I brought that up though is there has been updates since that
Oh, yeah.
era, and I feel like those updates kind of went largely ignored or weren't necessarily noticed by the community so much, and I feel like they still think that Zeah is what it used to be, and that is, it couldn't be any further from the truth. There's so much more to do here now, and as far as the starting methods go on how to get started most efficiently, oh my god, there's about 10 routes for the first 10 minutes, and then after that there's about 1,000. It really can go any direction.
For the client core end, I highly recommend that you put your favor into Piscarilius just because of the cranes. So
Yeah.
one of your big issues in the early game is going to be actually getting GP
Yes.
for anything, which you're very limited on what you can do. Slayer's going to be one of your best bets. Fletching is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
But GP overall is actually going to be a big challenge. And if you put 20% in Piscarilius, you can skip doing the cranes, which would cost you probably like 100k or so. And
Oh, that much.
it's a good amount. I don't know if it's necessarily 100k, but it's going to be like a sizable amount for your cash stack.
It's gonna feel like the first 100k you ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's you either do that or you get to go spend a lot of time and a lot of effort to go make a bunch of nails all on your own from scratch. I have a feeling that a lot of these guys that are going to start this Twisted League, they're going to be actually quite severely overwhelmed by the amount of content and things that there is to do on Zeah. Jagex, the JMods, they've been releasing these dev blogs, and they're reading things about, oh, there's a couple of tasks to do, but there's information they've released, and if you're not paying attention, you probably missed it, but they told us there's going to be over 500 tasks to be completed on Zeah. It's not like there's not going to be anything to do. That's my whole point. I think people
I think
are...
that's the one thing. They've basically made so many tasks that they don't want to say no one can complete them all, because then someone will be really dedicated and complete them all. There's probably too many tasks to actually complete them all.
That's funny. That's what Mod Husky said in our chat. he said nobody will complete them all. I think he's doing it just to, you know, try to get that kind of reaction out of us. Like, oh,
Well,
I
in
will.
the Q&A, they didn't infer it directly. They're like, yeah, we really doubt like anyone will max. It's like there's probably going to be 2 or 3 people that actually max. But I'm looking at the hours as they are right now, and it's going to be pretty close. With that ×5 experience right now, it's going to be pretty close.
That's right. They confirmed the ×5. They kind of inferred some of the tiers from some of the relics will probably grant even more multipliers to experience. Don't hold me to it. That's not confirmed, but it sounded like that's what Flippy was saying.
I think if anything, they're probably going to do something of the sorts of like, you catch a chin in a box trap, and you get 2 or 3, including the extra experience.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I think that's how they're going to imply it. Like, you cut a log, and you get 3 logs, plus ×3 experience drop, on top of the 5 times multiplier.
Yeah, I can't see any other way to also increase drop rates at the same consistency that the multipliers are increased at. Even for things like Lizardman Shaman, where it's a 1 in 5,000. If your increased XP, your bonus multiplier is a ×5, then that drop rate should be made at least a ×5. That way you're not sitting there, you're going from 90 to 99 in attack and strength just by sitting at Shamans for 5,000 kills with 5 times XP. I think they need to definitely make sure that that's balanced properly, and I think the way to do it is to multiply the drop rates by the same XP multiplier. What are your thoughts on that?
They'd have to. Just the amount of people that are going to be playing, the amount of spawns for Shamans, there's no way anyone's going to go 5,000 kills. Then imagine you're one of those people on Reddit posting about, I'm 25,000 kills dry.
Right.
Congratulations, your entire Twisted League was just spent killing Shamans for a Dragon Warhammer, which is a mid-tier task.
Yeah.
So I'd expect probably at least a ×5 rate, if not ×10, for some of these key items.
And now we're leading into some other juicy topic here. Just like I had said before about a topic that wasn't necessarily confirmed but was kind of alluded to. It was kind of alluded to, at least to me. I had made an assumption about something, and then I corrected myself after the assumption. And my assumption was that they were either going to boost your ability to do damage with one of the relics, the starting relics. In one of the tiers, you'd have the chance to boost your damage, or you would increase your own personal rare drop rates. And when I said that, they both replied at the exact same time with the emoji, those 2 eyes that are looking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they're both like, what did he say? Oh, he knows. Like, that's what I get from those emojis. And they both did exact same time it was sent.
Didn't one of them say that Relics 2 to 5 are, I guess in the famous words of someone, this changes everything?
Yes.
That's how influential those relics are? They're that influential that those first few relics will basically change how you play the game.
Yeah, so they quoted Settled's Mauritania Only video series where he says, "As this changes everything," and they meant that directed towards tier 2 through 5 for each of the relics. Supposedly, those are the 3 relics that are going to change everything for that tier. So when you unlock your relic, something important to remember is that you're only going to be able to see tier 1 first.
Yeah, I was about to mention they have that thing. So we can't just go in day 1 and then theory craft everything from there. They were smart and decided, we're going to really mess with people and let them have to unlock each tier by tier. So they can only see, if you have tier 1 unlocked, you can only see the tier 2 relics after that.
That's right. And
so someone's going to need to go ahead and progress and figure out, like, hey, what relics are available? And then we have to figure out what's most efficient, which is going to take a ton of time.
Yeah, and if they're saying it's the tiers that are 2 through 5 are the ones that are going to change everything, and you can't see tier 2, that's a big hint, I think. That's a big tip.
But I just wonder, because it sounds like they are going to be set too, there's no way, you don't get to like respec at the end of it. You don't get to go through all your 1 through 5 and then say, oh, I don't like my selection originally, I want to use like my 1 redo. It doesn't sound like that. Once you make a decision, it is set.
And it seems to me like they're making it so that the first 3 starting relics that you get, it makes you kind of fill a niche, a specific niche. I guess one is for more skilling oriented, one is for more combat oriented, and another one is for balanced. But at the same time, One of them is also for end game content. One of them is also for beginning game content, and another will apply the same throughout the whole length of your period in the Twisted League. And so I'd have to assume that it's the one that gives you boosts to combat, which is more for later game, the earlier game, which would probably be the Endless Endurance, the boost to skilling and questing, and then obviously the balanced one keeps you balanced the whole time. I think it's important to mention that they did design those things, and they reworked them even to make sure that they really do fit those niches well. And I think that's something to definitely consider when we go to select our first relic.
I still think there's only one obvious choice, and then after the new blog post, it's an even better choice now. So I guess that kind of covers also you don't have to go to Wintertodt first. The Endless Endurance Relic is what I'm referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So in the new blog post, they had mentioned that it's going to be your run never drains out, so you're always on stamina pod essentially.
Right.
And then you get ×4 HP regen, and as of the moment, it's unknown if they'll stack with the HP rapid restore or if it will stack with the regen bracelet.
Really quick, I want to just say, you're the one who put this question out. You pointed this out to everybody in the chat, and I was like, oh my god, that's insanely overpowered. This needs to be addressed. And now what that is like what you were saying, the newly updated Endless Endurance will give 4 times hit points regen. That in conjunction with a regen bracelet, which is a 2 times, and in conjunction with rapid restore, that's right. That gives you a ×8 or ×16, which means you're healing 16 hit points a minute. That's absolutely insane. And if we're talking about soloing Ulm, it's going to be easy.
I think
escape.
The math was the average Ulm at the moment takes about 10 minutes if you're not speedrunning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 160 HP, probably for the Zeah. Well, of course, it's going to be slower. So that means it's going to be, I'd say, probably about 240 HP, which is 4 brews, pretty much. 4 full brews.
For the people who solo Ulm and do a really, really good job at soloing him, there's an average that they have for Xeric's aid potions that they use. I think that average is right around the 240 hit points mark that you were talking about. You have 5-6 brews. That's the only application I can see for late game content, really, for Endless Endurance. However,
I guess there's another thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Are they going to make stamina pots actually available on Zeah?
No.
Have they confirmed that?
Yes.
So then, I don't know why people are like, you have to go get the ammo. That makes no sense. You can always make more ammo. But
That's right.
Are you just going to be walking in Ulm? I know there's a method that you can conserve run energy, but you're going to have a pretty long fight, and I don't think that's possible.
I would agree.
I say it's not possible. Someone's probably done it, but for the non-Wooks, non-sync, insane player, you're not going to be doing that for hundreds of raids. The 250 for the hard task, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time. Let's go ahead and transition then. Let's go ahead and start talking about some raids. Last night, you and I, we did, you, me, and Great Curran and Zeah Ironman, we did a raid. And let me tell you guys, it was scuffed.
That's one way to put it.
We did something. It was scuffed. It was my intention from the get-go to go in there, and I knew we were going to be scuffed. But it was my intention to go in there and see just how hard the raid would be with Zeah Only players. It was the first time we ever did a raid on our Zeah Only accounts, not to mention the first time we had ever raided together before in our entire life. And none of us, I don't think, were ready. I'm pretty sure 6 months ago we were telling ourselves we still got a year plus before we're ready. Maybe you were the closest, closest to being ready for it, but none of us were at all. And I kind of knew that going into it. I expected torture, and that's what we got. So you want to talk a little bit about what you think is going to be raids ready requirements?
So Dragon Warhammer, 100%. If you don't have that, that's going to be a huge thing for Ulmham, the Tecton, if you're going to do Tecton. You're probably going to want at least a tier 65 weapon, which is the Cudgel.
That's right.
Or you're going to want the Whip, or of course the Dragon Hunter Lance is your best. You're going to pretty much have to do rune armor for everything, unless you go and get Dragon Chain Body, Dragon Legs, a few other things there.
There may also be potential for third age equipment from Clue Scrolls. That might get buffed. Oh, you didn't want me to say that.
Yeah, I kind of think about it, but I've always kind of written it off. I mean, it is the best in slot,
Yeah.
but I hate to go on these RNG things and say the rest in slot when they're almost unreasonable.
So rune armor and black d'hide is going to be your best friend, and
Yeah.
mystic.
And the Mystic you're probably going to be getting off of Hydra is going to be a big one. That's how you get the Mystic top. And you can get the Mystic Bomb from the Spectres and Catacombs, I believe.
Yes, you can also get it from one of the implings drop it. I believe it's the ninja,
Dragon.
or is it dragon?
Dragon.
There you go.
But I wouldn't bank on those implings, considering how congested Zeah is going to be.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
there's
right.
only 3 areas in which the Zeah are like the Zeah imp spawn.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's around the Farming Guild. One of them is north of the castle, and one of them's over by the charcoal burners. I mean, most of those are pretty bad, so the Farming Guild one's a really highly congested area, so you don't typically get a lot of imps up there,
Yep.
or they get caught pretty quickly. Down there by the charcoal burner, they go over the water, and they just kind of pull an Amelia Earhart and get lost out at sea.
Oh, yes. I've made a couple episodes now just showing these imps trolling the hell out of me, so I know about the burners down there. That's a rough spot to catch imps. But you're totally right. Zeah only players right now, imps are a good idea, kind of.
I mean, if you look at the nice amulet slot that I got last week,
You know, the old
they're
glory.
definitely a great idea.
Gorgeous. Yeah. But for Twisted League, probably not, because it's going to be really congested.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on it. You'd probably be better off trying to get Dragon Stone off of Rare Drop Table or something.
Yeah, rare drop table or Scotizo. He drops 10 of them noted. Common drop.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yes. Is it a 1 in 10 or something like that? It's a
1
common...
in 15.
1 in
but-
15. Back to raid-specific gear. Do you have anything else you want to add on that? Herblore level, perhaps.
Yes. So, minimum you're going to be wanting to make the mid-tier brews. So those are level 60. Ideally you want 78, so you can make the top-tier brews and restores. 78 is going to be your long-term ideal, but if you want to do like a minimum rating, I'm going to say probably your mid-tier brews that probably heal 12, I believe. I don't even know the exact number.
You'll also definitely want overloads. Some sort of overload. So that's
Oh,
what?
yeah.
70... Is that 65?
75. Because it goes up in 15, so it starts at 60, 75, and then 90 for top tier.
Gotcha.
But you
So...
can always kill for the top tier. So
Yeah.
you kill Tecton, Mutadial,
Mhm.
Vanguards drops it.
That's
I
right.
think those are the 3.
And now,
Drop up.
the reason why overloads are important, I was 76 magic, and using Fire Wave is if you're getting hit at all by Olm, if you get hit by any of his attacks, and you are only like, say, 80 hit points, he can one hit you from about 35 hit points fairly easily. So you're gonna want to eat. Well, you're getting down to 35 hit points pretty quickly. What are you eating with? It's the Xerix brews. Those will brew you down, so it'll take your magic level down below. You want to make sure you have high enough mage to cast a level 75 spell with
Or else you're going
brews.
against staff bashing the mage hand, which doesn't work too well.
Yeah, you can't even hit it. So that was me last night, actually, walking around looking like a complete moron. Couldn't even have access to my spell, and then I had to re-equip the spell every time that happened. And so that really made taking on the mage hand extremely difficult. For those who don't know what the overload does, what is it? It's every 15 seconds, right? It replenishes your stats. The point in this is then you don't have to chug your restores to get your levels back up. They'll go up automatically, and that helps dramatically.
So the other big thing is timing. So for running the mage head or the Olm head,
Mm-hmm.
you can't cast 2 spells like you normally can because Trident's, I believe, a tick faster than normal casting, and that works out perfectly. So you can just do 2 attacks, run to the other side, 2 attacks, run to the other side. You can't do that on the normal spell book, so you're gonna have to get used to doing 1 cast, wait like half of a cast, then move if you're gonna be running Olm head. And as far as the mage hand's gonna go, that
Mhm.
really kills DPS compared to usual raids.
Yeah, the Trident hits actually quite a bit faster. I think it's the same speed as a whip, or is it even a little
same
faster?
speed as a whip, and it goes up to 28 damage versus Fire Wave base 20.
Definitely something to consider. The fire wave is going to be quite a bit different to use, and I think anybody, as soon as they get in there and start using it, they will see there's quite a difference. What else do you think people should know? Construction level? Do you think people can do it with 50 construction and the small storage unit?
Probably 60, I'd say, for medium chest, because you're gonna have to self-prep essentially.
Is that 60
Every
or
teammate's gonna
70?
have to It's 60 for mid tier, 90 for the top tier.
Oh, okay. What else? Defense, overall combat level. What do you think the overall combat level should be before you should start a bare minimum raid?
I'd like to say 80 to 85.
Yeah?
Based upon last night's experience. You want to go as high as possible. You want to be max, but I'd say 80, 85 is going to be a safe bet.
So are you saying our raid last night was a success as far as a bare minimum raid goes?
We killed Ohm, so I guess that defines success.
Technically, yes.
It was a bit rough. Coming in at 3.5 hours.
Gosh, don't say that here.
I guess I shouldn't say that I also caused the extinction of a type of bat too.
Yeah.
Everyone got food. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you are going to be using fish and cooking them for whatever reason, even though it's probably not recommended for raids.
Make sure you have a cooking level to cook the fish that you can catch.
Yep, or bats.
Or bats, yes. That's a very big deal.
It's a good time.
One other thing that people might not be thinking about, but let's say for the guy who's doing all the magic, the guy who's got the tome, he's probably going to be the guy on the mage hand. He's probably going to want to use blood runes. Blood runes aren't something that you necessarily come by easily on Zeah. Granted, what they do with the drop rates, if they do it the same, like 5 times, just like they have for the XP rates, once you hit 85 Slayer, you should have a good handful of blood runes, but that's only going to last you for about 10 or 15 raids.
I think you could probably go more.
Maybe even 20.
Yeah.
But my point is they're not going to last forever. Another really good way to get those runes is if you've got a lot of money, you can buy them from the general store in Arceus, but that gets really expensive. The best way is probably getting 77 rune crafting, and to get that rune crafting requires, well, it's a pain in the ass for any other way other than using endless endurance. So that's something to definitely think about if your goal is to be the major in raids. Let's talk about your bow.
Oh, yes.
How do you have it, and why can't people get it anymore?
Well, the way I got it was playing an absurd amount, I guess is the best way to say it. It was a 550-hour Slayer grind from 80. And the way you used to be able to get Dark Bow was there was only one spawn of Dark Beast that didn't require you to complete Morning's End Part 1 and start Morning's End Part 2. They were found in the Catacombs all the way up until the release of Song of Elves. So I managed to grind for all of that, doing Konar Slayer, went out there, killed a bunch of Dark Beasts, got a shield left half, and eventually at like 307 kills got a Dark Bow.
There you go.
And they removed it with Song of Elves, so there's no way to get it without completing Morning's End Part 1 anymore.
And that includes in the Twisted League, the Dark Bow will not be available, so...
It's not a big loss, it's just kind of a nice thing to look at.
Yeah. But I just figured it was worth a mention. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind item on a Zeah Only account now, so... And you're wielding it, so that's really cool to see, and I definitely wanted to talk about that real quick, in case anybody was wondering, you're Zeah Only, but how the hell do you have a Dark Bow? Like, that's how. So...
Yeah, no, that was, I did a kind of spontaneous, I should do this, it's a now or never, and then I start getting into the grind, I'm like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? And just finished it.
There you go, man. That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to touch base on as far as the Twisted League goes before we get out of here?
I mean, there's so much to talk about for Twisted Leagues, I don't even know where to begin, but it's also going to change in like a week, probably.
So how about this? Do you have any comments to wrap up? Any quick suggestions maybe to people? Big tips?
I guess the big thing is you're going to choose your own path. No one's going to have the meta going into this. We do have ideas based upon, like, say, only experience. You've done 12 months. I've gained close to 2 years of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's things that are definitely going to be meta in a way. You can only really train fire making in one way when they're taught. I mean, I guess you could get redwoods, but it's just kind of useless.
That's right.
So I just kind of had fun with it because, as the J mods have made clear, they want to make it meta breaking. They want to make it just something that you learn as you go along, and it's only 2 months, so try to plan out, I guess, like what cosmetics you want to buy. That's a big thing. I'm gonna be getting that nice top tier outfit ideally, and then probably Slayer helm on the main.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have fun with it.
All right. Well, actually, I couldn't say it any better myself, so that's perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed this cool little dialogue here that I'm having with one of the best Zeah Only players in all of RuneScape. And I don't care if you don't want me to say it, man. You are. You're doing really good things here on Zeah, and you got the account to show for it, complete with the dark bow. What's that?
Burned out at Redwoods.
Burned out at Redwoods. So anyway, if you enjoyed it, guys, just share this video around, leave it a like, leave me a subscription if you please, and you know, get hyped for Twisted League. That's all I got. Take care. Happy
Thank you for
scaping.
having me.
That's right, man. Thanks for coming on.